I was looking at my eyes. It looks so weird. I kept being like, God, my eyes look weird. And then I realized it's this white ring showing up in my eyes. So if you see that white ring in my eyes, that's that's what it is because it looks weird. Okay, I remembered what I was going to say. So I was going to say, when you are on the wrong path, when things, when you're going in the wrong direction in life, everything will go wrong. Life will start happening. Everything will go upside down to get you back on the right path. So you can't ever stay off the path for very long. Like, I don't know. I think for me, I don't even know when I went off the path. I can look back now in hindsight and I can see like I was off the path because I wasn't focusing on myself and I was focusing on what others wanted from me and trying to please others. So, I know that, but there was a lot of stuff that I went through and learned. So, I wasn't ever really quite sure how I got off the path or whatever, but yeah, I had to get a brain injury to get me back on the path. And so, and I know that anything can happen. I mean, I've heard of people getting in car wrecks, like their car keeps breaking down, and then they twist their ankle, and then they fall down and they injure their knee, or, they hurt their hip or something. Like when you're going on the wrong path, it will do everything to keep stopping you, and it will start out small, but it will build. So, I'm not sure. There probably was signs and stuff to try and get me back on the path before getting a brain injury. I just was so focused on, the rat race and trying to survive that I was completely cut off from listening to my inner self, I feel like. And I did feel very abandoned in the world and very stuck and hopeless and just like, what does it all mean? Like, just makes no sense. And, and when I got the brain injury, I thought, this is the worst thing in the world. I've built my whole life towards this one direction. And now, it's just ripped it all away from me. So what am I supposed to do? And, and then feeling disabled on top of that, like everything, if you have any kind of handicap whatsoever, the world isn't set up for any kind of handicaps. It's set up for, if you're go, go, go. So if you're not, on the same speed as everybody else, and you got any kind of thing holding you back, it can be hard as shit. And, when I first got mine, it was very, very hard just to try and, just the things I had already established in my life, like bank accounts and stuff. And then to try and go back in and do those and try and figure out how to pay my bills. Like the first month when I started having it, it was the first month after I got out of the hospital. There was a few weeks I couldn't do anything. It seems, it was such horrible pain to feel your brain in there with no cushion. Oh God, it's horrible. Every step you take, it's so cringy. But at some point, I had to get on to my bank account and start trying to figure it out. And I got overdrawn almost $1,000 in 1 month. And then I was like, okay, what the fuck is going on? Like, how am I doing this? Like, what is happening? And yeah, that was just like, started going down faster. But there were so many things like that you already have established in your regular life that when you start trying to go back into it and you've gotten some sort of disability that is not preventing you from accessing it in the way that you did before. There were so many things that I would have to relearn, but like that 41st days, I had to relearn it over and over every day. I had to relearn it and relearn it. I couldn't remember it. I still live like that. I just don't let it get me as frustrated as I did. Back then, it was very, very much harder because it was like you knew who you were. Like when I knew I couldn't remember words, um, and you knew that you knew other words and you couldn't get them out, you couldn't say them, and sometimes you'd say some weird word that wasn't even what you were talking about, and people would start laughing. I'm like, that's not even the word. I was like, yeah, my brain is messing up here, guys. I'm sorry. It's not working all the way. And yeah, but they don't understand about brain injuries at all, because you can sit there and look completely normal and they can't imagine that you have something going on because you look regular. It's like, but there is something going on in there, and it is like struggling. Even at first going to like a party or something and being around a few different people, then at first, oh my gosh, before I started seeing how much alcohol affects me now, is I went to a party and I don't think I'd eaten it. It was a big party, and it was through work, I think. And I drank, and I think I drank, I don't even know how much I drank, because I think I used to get much more nervous when I would go to things like that. And yeah, so I was drinking. It was some good drink, some tasty drink, super sweet. So whatever, I don't know what I did. I think I started pushing people in the pool or something asinine like that, some ridiculous thing. Went home, spent the whole night puking. It was the whole thing was so stupid and weird. But it took a while for me to see, like, if I drink, it affects me much different than how it used to be. Like, and it gives me a horrible headache. So, I drink every once in a while now. Like I can enjoy a mimosa, or, a glass of wine or a cold beer. But, I'm not somebody who's going to overdo it. I'm not somebody who's going to go in and do shots or something like that. And I did do that too when I very first got it. I was kind of out of control when I first got it. Like, I was really, really struggling too. And, everything I would try and think, I couldn't think of, like I was trying to force my brain to do something, and in my head I would see it kind of like I was at the gym and I'm forcing doing weights, and it's just like killing me. And that's what it felt like these muscles were just being worked that hadn't ever, it felt really weird. It was really there was a lot of weird sensations in my head, trying to make it remember and make it work when it was breaking or broken or whatever. And, oh my gosh, you have everybody telling you, like, how you need to do this, how you need to do that. You can't do this anymore. You can't do that anymore. And one of the things that I still struggle with, and this happens to me now that someone's around me all the time, it happens to me fucking daily. This is something I cannot stand, is somebody to tell me something that happened, like blah blah blah, when we talked about this and this happened, blah blah blah, whatever, because I have no recollection of it, no attachment to it, nothing. So to me, it sounds like you're lying and making something up, and you are making it up. And the thing that really gets to me too is when that happens, that it even feels more like you can be manipulated so easy, because people can turn any conversation or any kind of incident into how they want it to be, because they can tell you, well, you said this and you said that. How am I supposed to defend myself? I don't even know what the fuck you're talking about. I don't even know that I was there. You're telling me I was at a place I have no recollection of. And that is something, yeah, I just can't stand it. And I can't stand when people try and, just really let me know. I was like, okay, well, I don't have any idea. I could not explain to you at all why any of the stuff, why I would have thought what I thought, why I would have, looked at anything in that way. Like, I have no idea. I have no connection, and it feels like you're making this up. So that to me is one of the worst parts of a brain injury, is that part. Because it just doesn't feel real. It feels like you just have people constantly lying to you and bringing you into this illusion that they are living or something. I don't know how to explain it, but I don't want. That's the part I really don't like. And when I was by myself, Stella didn't do it to me. So, but now, I have somebody constantly like this, blah blah blah, and you did this, said that. And it's like, oh, okay. What else? What else do I need to know? Because, I don't know. And I feel one of the things, too, this morning, oh, my gosh. I talk about sometimes, I don't go in depth. I'm still not going to go in depth. So this other part of stuff that's been going on in my life, like another part of my journey, like this stuff with this telepathy and stuff, and this soul that I feel like I'm communicating with and stuff. So there's this whole other part that I don't talk about, but a lot of times that this energy comes to me in these weird ways. And anyways, I won't talk about that too much because I'll go too deep in it, but it was weird how this morning that happened. And then this other thing I started watching, and it was a crime one. And, there was something about that crime I wanted to say, too. Oh, what was it? See, I can't even remember what the fucking crime was. The second one I remembered, because one just started automatically. Like, I started something because I have this other thing that goes on, and I'm trying to detach from parts of it or whatever, but then it's always coming at me, So anyways, when that came at me, then it was just like, oh my gosh. So I turned on something else, and it was some kind of crime thing. And then I started doing something, and then another one started by itself right after. And the one that started right after by itself was about a guy who had a brain injury, and he was a regular guy before. He got an ATV accident and got a brain injury. And when I was a nurse, those happen all the time. Like, those fucking things are dangerous as fuck. I mean, kids would die. Little kids would die. You have to deal with their parents and stuff. It's really horrible. But people get head injuries and stuff all the time on those kinds of things. So anyways, this guy, that happened to him. He was a little kid, and not a real little kid, I think he was like a teenager. And he went and he got in a crash in one, and it landed on his head and gave him a head injury. And he had parts of his brain, oh, they're going to start barking. Parts of his brain, stop. No. Parts of his brain. As soon as I hear a dog bark outside, then I know, here it goes. Because there's not a dog that can bark outside that they don't answer each other. That's what I'm saying. There's communication. There's like a real bond with all these dogs. Okay. So anyways, this guy who ends up being a murderer in this, and he had gotten a brain injury. And so the commentator guy who's telling about this crime, he started saying about that when he got his brain injury, that he started getting really angry, and he started talking about frontal lobe damage and stuff. And I have frontal lobe damage, and some of the stuff he said, was right on. Everybody's is going to be a little bit different. And so everybody's is a little bit different in it. And then also depends on other things too, I guess. because I got temporal too and a frontal. And so the frontal will make it where you're more impulsive. I've talked about this stuff before, but anyways, so it will make it where you're more impulsive, and it holds memory. Memory is around temporal or frontal or something. But anyways, memory is in there too. And some other stuff I can't remember. It has to do also with, it's called executive function. It's like, I think it's how, I don't know, something about how you process things. Because like when I go to a party or something and people are talking, it is way, way slow. It is way harder for me to keep up with each person, because I feel like I have to go into my head and think about like, okay, so they said this, what does that mean? Okay, that means, okay, what did they say? So I missed out on a lot of the stuff because I can't keep up with it. And yeah, before, I think that when, I think there was a part where I just felt like, you know, what matters? I don't know. I can't really remember. But I know I drank a few times back then when I very first got it. And I had like way, way more drunk than probably what it should have been, you know. And I don't know. I think my brain injury makes it exaggerated. So anyways, when he was talking about that guy, he was saying about that he got that angry thing, which my other friend who I had just met that has a brain injury, that and she's only had hers 2 years, mine's like 10 years. Maybe mine's longer, because I got mine in February. It was Valentine's of 2009. So I think mine is longer than 10 years. But yeah, I think it's 12. So hers is only a couple years, and hers is a car wreck. But she got frontal lobe, and it affected her memory, but it also affected her thing, getting angry, you know? And that's what this guy had, this kid. And she told me some of those stories, and they told these stories, you know, like just over the top stuff, like get mad at you and come out and just start beating you with a pan or something, you know, like crazy anger issues. And so then he kind of, you know, just became a murderer. And the person talking about it, it's just weird, because I think that there's so many people who just kind of think of like your brain injury and mental illness and all those things just kind of go in together. And they don't necessarily. And luckily, I freaking thank God that I did not get that angry part. You know, I have, you know, impulsivity, but I always had impulsivity, and it's on a fucking spectrum. You know, don't judge me. I'm fucking be as impulsive as I want to be. So anyways, I'm glad I didn't get that anger part, because it's, yeah, I don't know. But I didn't get that part of that. And I do know that it is common. Like, he was right when he was talking about that. It is common for people to get frontal lobe and to start having problems being able to control their anger. I feel like I just got super, super mellow and super just like fucking, I went from being like type A, like, everything's gotta be perfect, to being like, fuck, what the fuck, it all matter. It's like, don't worry about it. Give me a joint. Let's just relax a little. You know, life is short. You've got to enjoy it while you're here. And, you know, you can't sit here and just worry and try and be perfect and all that stuff. But anyways, if you're watching this and you keep watching me, that's why I just can sound kind of nutty sometimes, probably, because I can't stay on track because I have a brain injury. I can barely keep track of what I'm talking about. So, okay, I'll talk to you later.